Hello everybody, this is an astrological forecast for Taurus for October of 2012. This also applies if you have a Taurus ascendant. So my Taurians, this month is going to be a big focus on your work, your relationships, your finances, your career. It's all going to come into the mix. I hope that you're still taking advantage of the fact that you've got Jupiter in your second house of finance. Now, what this means is, and especially in the second week of the month, when Jupiter makes a trine to the Sun in your fifth house. So this is a wonderful time for a new business, for growing a business. It's also a wonderful time for romance, actually. And this month, particularly for you, Taurus, this is your romantic month. So for those of you that are looking for a relationship, make sure you put yourself in social situations where you can meet somebody, where you've got a chance of meeting somebody. And also, it looks to me as though this is about doing it in person this month, with Venus being in your fifth house. Don't do it so much on the internet. Really try and meet people in person, because that's going to work better for you. And Taurus, you actually need the physical touch with people. You need that physicality. So doing things on the internet is not necessarily the best way for you when it comes to a relationship. The biggest thing that's happening this year, Taurus, is that Saturn is changing sign. It's been in your sixth house of work, service, health for the last 2 and a bit years. And many of you have been really aware of that. Many of you will have lost your jobs, had difficulty in work, difficulty in the workplace, a lot of learning experiences to do. You might have had to make adjustments with your health, dealing with health issues, maybe starting a whole new regime with a diet, changing your exercise patterns, maybe changing any addictions you've got, drinking, smoking, whatever it is. But you've had to really work at your health and also at your work area. There may have been some restructuring going on where you've worked, maybe some cutting back. Of course, we're seeing that globally, but you may have experienced it really particularly in these last 2 and a bit years. After October the 5th, it goes into your 7th house. Now, wherever Saturn is in our chart, we've got some lessons to learn. So it's not to be frightened of. I always find that Saturn is a wonderful influence, actually, because it usually weeds out the things that we're not happy with. So the fact that it's coming into your 7th house of relationship, Taurus, it means very possibly that there may be endings of relationships during this time. There could be that you just have a clean sweep. Maybe there are relationships in your life right now that are too controlling, where you feel too restricted, too limited, and you need to break out. Maybe you're not feeling respected in certain relationships. And this will relate not only to your intimate relationships, but also to your personal relationships. But it'll be a re-evaluation time of your relationships. And if you're in a marriage, you may find that that marriage really is tested during this time. Also, you need to be really sure that whatever promises you make to somebody, whatever commitments you make, you really stick to them. So make sure you don't overpromise. Don't be over-optimistic. Make sure you just really promise what you can, and then you really must stick to it, because Saturn is the planet that rules integrity. And if your integrity is out, especially when it comes to your word in your relationships, then you will suffer because of this Saturn transit. If you keep your word, you'll be absolutely fine. And with Venus, your ruler, being in the 5th house for much of this month, this is a great time for anything connected with children, pleasure, enjoyment, hobbies, certainly a romance. And with the Venus being trine to Pluto, you may in fact have a very intense sexual, physical attraction to somebody, especially the first week of this month, almost an infatuation or a crush, but certainly some very strong feelings are very possible that you could be having. It's very important as well that for those of you that are in business for yourself, that you make sure that you're really doing what you enjoy, that it's not somehow you're slogging away each day by day, really pushing forwards, but that you are doing really what you're enjoying doing. And if you've got a new business idea, wonderful, especially with this trine from Jupiter to the Sun, 2nd, 3rd week roughly there, wonderful time for anything connected with your work or business. Now, we've got Mars for some of this month in your 7th house of relationships. So you may find yourself being angry with somebody or flying off the handle with somebody. But the thing about it is that's important with Mars in this house, it's important that you face confrontation. tendency sometimes with Taurus, you really have to be pushed before you really fight back. Yeah, it's the bull. You really pushed and nudged, and then eventually you'll fight back. Well, with Mars in that house, you might just find yourself really pushing back and saying, hey, this isn't fair. I'm not tolerating this anymore in this relationship. I won't put up with this behavior. So you may find things coming to a bit of a head. The last couple of weeks of the month, we've got Mars into your 8th house, and that's going to mean that you need to push forward with anything maybe connected with insurance, your taxes, a pension, with the bank, something where you need to assert yourself and push forward. And it could be joint finances. Somebody maybe who needs to be told exactly what you want this time rather than the other way round. We've still got this square of Pluto to Uranus going on, and so for many of you Taurians, you are certainly feeling as though there's been some limitation on what it is you really want to do, and you really want to break out, but somehow there's other people or other circumstances or responsibilities that you've taken on, so you can't really break out fully. You're going to have to find ways, Taurus, to balance these energies, because it's very important that you find ways to express your individuality. And especially for the last 3 weeks of the month, we've got this lovely trine from Saturn to Neptune, from your 7th to your 11th houses. So it's a wonderful time, in fact, for maybe making a friendship into a love relationship. It's also a wonderful time for any dreams that you've had with an organisation or a group of people. It's also a good time to run a training, go to a training, go on a course, to make something very practical and physical that you've maybe been looking at doing for a while, but it could be maybe taking a qualification in something connected with the metaphysical arts, maybe with Reiki or healing or complementary medicine. Anything like that is very well aspected for you this month, Taurus. And so there you have it, really. Those are the main aspects for October of 2012. And I wish you a really great month. And I thank so many of you who comment, who come to me for readings, who ask questions, whatever it is. I'm always delighted to hear from you. Thank you for listening. Bye for now.